If you're already an intermediate and are still only paying attention to biceps, chest, lats, and quadriceps, then very likely you will be stuck in the intermediate trap for a very, very long time. Because although these muscles constitute the majority of fitness training content and are therefore undoubtedly the main characters that receive all the praise, it is actually all the other muscles that fail to capture your attention that will ascend your status from intermediate to advanced. They're not only critical in completing your physique, but more importantly, they're critical in maintaining your daily functions. So if you're serious about taking your training to the next level, then here are some muscles that you cannot keep ignoring anymore. Welcome to Fast Track Gains. I'm here to help you accelerate your gains. This is the first episode of my 8th series, the Unsung Heroes. Now, to be fair, the supermajority of skeletal muscles are unsung heroes because there are more than 600 skeletal muscles in the body, and even us fitness enthusiasts who claim to be well-versed in human anatomy can only recognize a few dozens of them, which means that the existence of other hundreds of muscles remain to be unseen and unheard of except for the anatomy textbook. However, even in the fitness context, there are still many muscles that are constantly overlooked by the most of the gym nation. Like Samwise Gamgee in one of my favorite movie series, Lord of the Rings, these muscles are making all the most valuable contributions, yet are not receiving the recognition like the loyal, quiet, and reliable Shy Gardner. And this series is all about reinstating the glory they deserve that is way overdue. And the first episode is dedicated to one of the most underappreciated muscles in the whole body, the brachialis. If there's one muscle that is synonymous with bodybuilding, then this muscle has got to be the biceps. From Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 1970s to Ronnie Coleman in the 2000s, all the way to nowadays Nick Walker and Michael Kriesel. There's a reason that mountainous peaking biceps have long remained the signature muscle that everyone is associating gym bros with by default. And indeed, when you roll up your sleeves, flex your elbow, and supinate your wrist really hard, then the bicep is without any doubt the main hero of that brief moment. However, if biceps are really as important in real life as they are in bodybuilding posing, then here comes the question. Why are you never carrying any boxes with a supinated grip? And if you're a fan of Marvel Comics, there's another more relevant question. Why does the mighty Thor never swing his hammer like gym bros would swing some bicep curls? If the mortal people and immortal Asgardians are all not using biceps as the main primary mover to flex their elbows, then there must be something telling, right? It is time to reveal the truth. The biceps may be the biggest elbow flexor, but it is never the strongest. Whereas the brachialis, it may not be the biggest elbow flexor, but it is always the strongest in the absence of supination. The situation between biceps and the brachialis is again, befittingly, very much like the situation that Thor and Hulk found themselves in Ragnarok. Hulk might be the biggest Avenger, but without a doubt, Thor is the strongest Avenger.
Voice activation required.
Banner.
Welcome, strongest Avenger.
What?
Located deep to the bicep brachii, the brachialis originates on the humerus and inserts on the ulna. But unlike biceps, the brachialis does not insert on the radius and does not participate in pronation and supination of the forearm, and is therefore only tasked with one job, elbow flexion. As the strongest elbow flexor, the brachialis has a large cross-sectional area and can therefore provide more strength than the biceps. In fact, in some studies, it has been found that it can generate approximately 50% more power than the biceps for this action. Because of this, any movement that involves elbow flexion, whether it is swing a hammer, carrying boxes, doing pull-ups, doing cable rows, or even just curling dumbbells, you're always going to find that the hammer grip or the neutral wrist position will be your strongest position as opposed to underhand grip position. So from a practical perspective of maintaining your daily functions or improving your training performance, the importance of training your brachialis should be even higher than training your biceps. However, even from a purely physique perspective, developing bigger brachialis is still of high importance to you. Although it is deep to the biceps, the brachialis is still visible on your upper arm, and it occupies quite a big part of the surface area when you are not supinating your wrist, which is, let's face it, 99% of the time. For example, in this photo, you can see a big lumpy area on my upper arm between biceps and triceps, and that is brachialis. Growing it will make your arm look wider when seen from the side, even more so than growing the biceps. And just in case if you still don't believe me because I have sucky biceps, let's use Ronnie Coleman as another example. Now there's no question that Ronnie had some of the biggest biceps in the whole bodybuilding history. But what people failed to recognize was how humongous his brachialis was. Just look at this photo when he was grappling with Jay Cutler in 2003. The size of his brachialis was even bigger than his biceps, and that just made his arms much more complete and much more intimidating from any angle at any moment. Plus, the huge brachialis further pushes already peaky biceps and make it even more freaky. So, from whichever perspective, there's no downside of developing your brachialis, only the upside. And I will strongly recommend that you overdevelop this muscle in relation to your biceps as an extra protection to your shoulder health. And what is the best exercise to train your brachialis? Well, the answer is in the beginning of this video. Hammer curls are the best isolation exercises. They put your brachialis in the most advantageous position, and in my opinion, this is the only curling exercise that most people should do as opposed to the more mainstream bicep curls. And in terms of compound exercises, all the neutral grip pulling movements are all great for developing your brachialis. It may be smaller than your biceps, but trust me, in this instance, size does not matter. The brachialis is the strongest elbow flexor. That's it, guys. The first of our unsung heroes. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. In the next episode, I will introduce the cousin of the first unsung hero, so stay tuned. Thank you for your support, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.